a heavy Danish accent. But anyway, this is to start with me. I'm the CEO and leader of the Danish Designers, a design office in Copenhagen, rather small, that has a history for more than 35 years. I joined around 20 years ago, and 6 years ago we went into a generation shift that has made me now being the CEO and leader and design leader of the company. We have through the times done almost all the design of our models as an external design consultancy working quite internally with our models. And I think it's very important that you have a very strong connection with your clients, because then you're able to do more than just giving formulas. You're able to completely interact together with the other members of the development team. Bang & Olufsen is a rather small company producing audio and video, founded in 1925 in a very small place in Denmark, very remote, in a small city called Struer with just 22,000 people. And as you can see here, it is a very flat part of Denmark with very rather few people living there. They produced radios and later on televisions and phones, and they were one of the first ones to discover the importance of design. And they decided in the 50s that they needed to emphasize a lot on design, simply because of the fact that they were making products that had to enter the homes of the people. And you don't bring in products that are not good looking. It's an unobtrusive way to disturb your environment in your house. By doing that, they were able to, by shifting the focus towards design, they were able to survive as the only Danish company doing this televisions. And now they are among the very few European ones that are still in production. They also become very famous for the design, and now that, according to one of the latest surveys, they are number 5 cruise brand in the world. This is some of our products here through the history, and you can see they got some of the older televisions on the top through speakers. It's over there a remote that can lift instead of automatically when you're getting close with your hands. Going down to the telephones, and now at the bottom line, then some of the newest products we have. What is significant for these products is, I would say they're rather iconic and all of them. They're easy to recognize, the same of them. They have very strong identity. On the same time, each of them have had very long lifespan. If you take the speaker on the top, they're actually up in production today, 20 years after when they were designed, and they are still able to be sold in a fair number. The speaker phone, the little phone right in the middle is a mobile phone done together with Samsung, and that gave me a chance to come here to Korea for the first time and have a very wonderful co-working with people from Samsung. This is our studio, and we are based in Copenhagen. That is 4 hours away from Struer, and the reason for why we're based not at the factory but in Copenhagen is double. The first reason is actually we want to have a cocoon place for design, because design, even though it's very important, it tends to be the most soft field between engineers and architects. You can all spend design, and so you need to be able to get good design. You really need to create a kind of protective environment, especially when you talk about the earlier phases of developing design ideas. But the second part of it is also that we actually wanted to be in Copenhagen, and this has something to do about Copenhagen being one of the very first countries to think about public design. And you can read that when entering the airport in Copenhagen, you can see the signs very clearly. It's one of the very easy airports to find your way through. So the idea of using design as a way to create an easy and user-friendly experience for the people surrounding has been early understanding in Copenhagen. You'll also feel a very high design environment, just as Eskild talked about previously. And I showed in the way here, let's say, even in the smallest shop in the second-hand street, you'll find the word design, you'll find house design. And this is something that when we get visitors from outside, they are emphasizing this thing as something that is unique to the art. Right, outside my house, I've been just here, where Carlsberg used to have a brewing factory, and they moved out the production from this part, and now you have some reuse of this space that is very interesting. It's a very creative way of making a playground for children with hanging cars up in the roof in the trees, so they have to climb through. Or you have here, you have old factory walls now turned into a center for modern dance, which is again inspiring for me. There's another very significant thing, and that is the way we regard our homes. The homes is not a place just to sleep and stay in. It is, you could say, our identity. And this is something that I feel is very important when you work in a field for designing products for your home. And when you're in an environment where all people are using their home as to create their own identity, their face. When you are in an environment where people bring guests into their homes, that's where you meet. You don't meet outside, you meet in your homes. And you put a lot of energy in making your home as the identity of how you want to be. Then you have a great sense and awareness of the surrounding environment. The last thing here that I felt is very important is something that had come to my mind in the recent years, and that is the education. This is pictures from my son's school. It's a school that pioneered in Denmark the idea of creating persons that do have creative sense, that have the love for making love for creativity, but also have the urge for doing creativity. And they're trained in that way that they are asked to do their own stuff. From the first grade, from first class and up to, they are asked to make their own story, to make their own music, to make their own anything. And to do that by themselves as individuals, but also to do it in groups. And what they get after 9 years in school like that is they get a very strong foundation of being creative and understanding creativity. That school have had a tremendous impact on the whole Danish education system. And for me, I feel it's personal, it's very important thing, and I get a lot of joy at bringing my son to the school and feel this kind of positive energy that you get from kids when you put them in an environment like that. Now, going to our studio, you will meet our studio is looking rather messy. It doesn't look like a typically drawing office. It more looks like you say the workshop of sculpture, full of full-scale one-to-one models, full of materials. It's very hands-on feeling. And as you can see here, with all the samples, the reason for doing that is we say form, I would say, just as serious as a sculpture. And we don't want to, we want to break away any kind of abstractness. We want to get it as real as possible. So we want to say, can you describe what you want to do? Can you play with what you want to do as direct as possible? By the way, you can see we also, of course, working strictly in producing our own designs. We are a rather small design office with less than 10 people all in all. And that means each of us are responsible for all the phases. And you could say our job starts with finding the next idea and work the idea up to a solution, a design solution that can be understood and that can be presented to other people. Where you have worked it onto a level where it stands so clear that you have taken away the things that is not belonging to the idea and adding on all the things that can make your idea as strong as possible. Then that idea is presented to to a team at Bang & that is supporting the designers. And that's a team of engineering people. And they have the job to, together with us, do the feasibility study of an idea to understand what it means, how can it be achieved. And with them, we work together to make an end result that is without any compromise. We have to put a thing on market that looks exactly and feels exactly like the first release. And this later phase is very important for getting a result out that is good enough. Far too often in far too many companies you will see that in the very later end of the phases you do a lot of compromises. And the product then the end users are going to have simply is not what you started off with. This is the first product I was doing when I entered the design office. It's called this phone. Designed in 1997, I think, and here's the end result coming to the market just around the year 2000. And you can see the end result is very much like the last of the sketch mock-ups. It stands here with a very strong visual identity as a long stick that you can grab and speak with. It has been able to be on shops still today, which means it has 12 years history now, and it's still on sale and people are buying it, even though you can say the technology inside is rather out of date. That's what I call a timeless good piece, and that's what I want to achieve with the DESIGNTV. But I say timeless good, but when you put it into the surrounding, like my home here, it had to disappear. It had to step out in the background when you don't want to use it, because it should not take the control over your environment. I mean, your environment is the master here. Now going to some of the later products. This is a connected speaker. This is an iPod that we just launched last year and has been the fastest selling Bang & Olufsen audio product in history. And you see it's quite simple in the way it has two speakers, almost flat, and then something in between where you can dock your iPad. The process of getting there was basically it started with a story of saying we need to connect speakers. Can you take two speakers and left and right, connect them to each other and put them anywhere in your home? That's why the idea of the cone shape came from, because when you comb it, you can put it up, as you can see, either flat on the wall or in the corner or up on the roof or standing almost floating on a table. So that's basically the idea of the speaker. But this design went through a lot of process because there's another way of connecting here. There's another part of the world, and that is how is it connected to your music environment. And as you can see on the top right, it actually for a long time had a very dynamic display in between, because our dream was to be able to, with this speaker, to control all the Bang & Olufsen home music network. So with this, and we had a gesture-driven user interface and there was another rather advanced solution. But actually we ended up not doing it because for a small company it is very difficult to develop software only for your own. So it ended up, the best solution for us was to hook up with Apple. Again, you can say this is a practical example of some of the situations that Mr. Lee was so inspiringly talking about on the first screen. This is the last project we have done here, the latest one, the flat screen television. And it's a bit funny to come here to the homeland of flat screens and speak about televisions. But this is a 65-inch plasma screen, which is rather big. And what we did here was to emphasize when you have such a big screen, it is a cinema experience you want to give to the user. So you will see that the design is trying to push the field towards the direction of the true cinemascope format, even though it's only the widescreen panel behind. But you see that the way it's cornered on the sides and the bottom and the top, you're trying to do it as horizontal as possible with the video. That's also why the center speaker underneath is almost detached. And besides, you have two matching speakers, flat wall speakers too. Mr. Lee was showing a 4mm thin screen. I don't have access to that kind of technology, unfortunately. The technology in here is much more bulky. But what I can do is to make it visually look as slim as possible. And that's why the design on the edge is curved like that. So you almost have a two-dimensional ambient feel of it. You don't discover it has the thickness of maybe 10 times the TV from LG. But then you can also integrate a technique like what you have on the top. You have the measuring, automatically measuring of the light in your room from the front, from the sides, from the back, and it can calibrate your picture quality according to how much light there's in the room and where it comes from the room. So it's a lot of intelligence built into it. But I think maybe it's more interesting to talk about the speaker here. This is our new flat wall speaker, and what you see here is just a piece of aluminum. And this is a message of the speaker. It is surprise. How can a thin piece of aluminum make such a big sound, make such a clear sound? This is the story about the speaker. Because what you see here, you see nothing like a speaker. You see everything is hidden. The process started with the speaker units. You had on the left top a new bass unit making this deep sound, a very flat unit developed specially for cars where you don't have space for thick drivers. But the middle range driver was much thicker, much deeper than the bass driver. And we could not get any kind of flat middle range driver that would perform with such a good sound as this one. And then at the end we had, on the top we had our acoustic lens system that is a way of spreading the high frequency sound clearly, so the sound is clear and pure no matter where you're standing in front of the speaker. You don't have any sweet spot where the sound is best. It's best everywhere. It's one of the unique things about it. But how to combine them in one product? Well, if you take the flat one and let it play towards the wall, then the reflection of the sound is coming from the wall and actually is doubled up by doing that. It's an acoustic principle. And then you don't need to look at the bass driver, so you can have a very smooth, very nice surface. But the mid range has to be facing towards you because it cannot play indirect. But if you put it in the middle and make a sinus curved shape, you can actually make it look much flatter than it actually is because you only have the thickness of in the middle where the lids, where the little unit is, and you can make it flat where the eyes are judging the thickness. So you can, by doing that, you can trick your perception of the dimension of the speaker. This is just two stages of design models, and you can see where we have the lens part sticking out as an element for itself, and you can also see that some of the speakers has been a play of proportion, but it ended up being a very slim aluminium profile, partly also because of the possibility of sourcing high-grade aluminium. You are limited to a certain dimension of the extrusion tool. This is where we ended up with the only details from sound visible. There is a little range behind this rather beautiful hole pattern here, and the high-frequency speaker on top. Everything else is hidden, and you can't even see the depth of it because the back part is curved, so it disappears. And the same holes goes, you will find it on the television. Underneath the panel, you have a center speaker with an extruded aluminium profile with a hole pattern where every single hole is into the pattern, no matter which angle you look from it, that you're looking at it. If you are lying down on the table, if you are standing up left and right, everything will look like it's determined. And with this detail, I'm not giving you any more details, so I'm stopping here. But thank you for listening, and please feel free to ask any questions.